Okay, hello and welcome everyone to Engineers Ireland's International Women in Engineering Day. This event is all about getting a career in engineering in Ireland, and it's kind of especially geared towards women. So we have three amazing women speakers coming up, and just before we begin, a little bit about Engineers Ireland. It's the professional body for engineers in Ireland. We have 25,000 members, and we've engineers from all different disciplines in the professional body. And yeah, look, we'd love for you to join it. It's a great way to apply for professional titles such as Chartered Engineer. There's loads of international recognition through mutual recognition agreements. So if you're coming from further afield, such as Canada or South Africa, there's loads of different ways to come into different ways. And of course, it's a great way to kind of keep on building up your CPD or your continuous professional development. It's also a great way to meet new people, such as the Women's Circle event that's taking place at 6 o'clock today. So it's just a great way to kind of keep up to date with news and get exclusive reports like our salary survey. If you do want to join, just Google us engineersireland.ie, become a member. There's a link in this video below, which I'll add into the description. You get your qualifications verified, which just means a way of authenticating that they're real, and we'll need them translated into English. There's a payment involved of €280 or, oh, sorry, I'm getting a tiny bit of feedback. Cedar, I think it might be you. I'm just going to mute you, sorry. But yeah, so there's a payment of €280 or €65 on if you're on the unemployed rate, and that's how you become a member. So there's 12 regions across Ireland, meaning that you can meet people from whichever region that you're based in. And also there's loads of different divisions based on whatever your professional interests are. So like, should you be interested in kind of civil engineering, biomedical engineering, there's usually a division for you in some place. There's loads of different societies, including the Young Engineer Society, so a great way to kind of get involved with young engineers in your locality. And yeah, of course, this week is Engineers Week, so the STEPS program is also running strong, where we're encouraging the next generation to get involved with engineering. Of course, as well, there's the Engineers Journal, where you can kind of keep up to date on all the different engineering matters going on in Ireland. And again, yeah, just to plug the different publications, like whether it's our salary survey or our kind of Irish Barometer or the State of Ireland reports. So yeah, you can join even if you're not strictly an engineer. You can join if you have a qualification related to engineering. So to say that you're in the kind of area of project management, energy, mathematics, it's a slightly different route to membership, and you can see the way that you would become a member there at the bottom of the screen. Again, these are the registered professional titles. A lot of people are aiming towards chartered engineer, which would be seen as a real kind of gold standard of engineering. But of course, there's titles around associate engineer and engineering technician too, which are governed by our other our other agreements with the international courts. And that's everything I wanted to say real quick at the beginning. I'm delighted now to be able to hand it over to someone who is one of my former colleagues, Cedra. Cedra, I'm going to ask you to come to the screen, and I'm going to start screen sharing for you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mihal, for inviting me on the International Women's Day, and happy Women's Day to everyone, actually. So starting off, my name is Citra. I'm a mother of 3 kids, and I did my engineering back in 2007, and I'm currently in Intel doing an internship in the fabrication facility, which is called the Fab 24. Can I please move on to the next slide? Back in 2020, I decided to get back to work, and this phase of my life, I call it my reboot program, because I was rebuilding myself, reinventing myself, trying to see what works, what doesn't work. And so after 7 years, when I was trying to get back to work and I was trying to send my CV here and there, I wasn't getting any positive feedback. So I tried to, at that point of time, I decided to step back and change my strategy overall. And so the first thing I did was to test the waters, go out there, leave my comfort zone. And a few things that I did was to volunteer for different causes that I truly believe in. The second thing was, of course, when that happened, it increased my network. And that led me to the next step, which was the MIVA program that I did with the New Communities Project, and I was a participant in that. So that program really helped me in boosting up my confidence, because since I was entering into the workforce after a couple of years, I felt that I lacked confidence at certain points, and there was a fear of irrelevance as well. So both of those questions were kind of catered to in the MIWA project, which is a migrant woman program by NCP. And they of course, they had a career counselor which counseled us regarding, making us our CV and how to appear for the job. But also they had an IT specialist who would tell us that what are the skills that are in demand in the market and how can we go about and do some courses and be, relevant to the market again. So that is exactly what I did. I was very interested in data analysis at that point of time. And I went on and did something very basic, which was Excel. I already knew Excel, but I just wanted to get like a certification of Excel. So I did this program with CETB, which is the Cabinet Education Board, and finally got a Microsoft certification in Excel Core and Advanced. That's how I landed my first job with Engineers Ireland. I was working on a data automation project. It was for 4 to 5 months with Engineers Ireland, but it also, like, apart from the project, I was also working on a different analysis for the members. So this was a really good combination because I was learning Excel in the morning and I was applying Excel in my job as well. So I was learning and applying at the same time. So efforts and results. So it was really an amazing opportunity for me, which really, polished my skills and also gave me the opportunity to think about where I want to next go. So at that point of time, I decided that I have the data analysis skills, I have that in me, but what should be my domain where I wanted to apply that skill? So I decided to expand my domain knowledge. And since I was on the website of Engineers Ireland all the time, I was reading a lot of surveys and reports, I got very much interested in advanced manufacturing. And that's how I, next slide please, Mehal. And that's how I started looking for courses in advanced manufacturing. And I found this course on LinkedIn, which was a FIT, and KWETB was offering this course. KWETB is Kildare Wicklow Education Training Board. They were offering the course of advanced manufacturing traineeship, and it was exactly what I wanted at that point of time, to take two things at the same time, the domain knowledge as well as the data analysis the skill that I was trying to get hold of and develop and build. So this course was actually a 48 weeks program, but it was really relevant because it was designed with in consultation with engineering experts and leaders like Intel. And there were almost 8 modules in the course, but they started from very basic, like starting with the definition of numbers, and takes you to at the end, we were like programming robots and PLCs and doing a project. So it was a full on and fully packed and loaded kind of a course. Our learning was very steep. And we were like in those 48 weeks, actually 8 months, we were like trained and we were market ready to apply to different roles in the industry. At the end, we applied to Intel gave us an opportunity to interview all of us, and luckily, because of that course, I ended up with Intel. So can I have that go on to the next slide, please? So right now I am doing that work placement with Intel, and working in the fabrication facility is just amazing. The first few weeks I was totally in awe of the amazing miracle of science, I would say, and the high technology, most sophisticated kind of things happening around me. And then of course, the one thing that I really like about Intel is that once I step in it, I find people from all sorts of different backgrounds and cultures. And so it's really, I feel like, as the, you know, the sense of belonging and inclusion. And this was what I think that's the first thing that really caught my attention and I really liked about Intel, apart from the fact that it's, doing all the high-tech things that it is doing. The second thing is the learning opportunity. So Intel really takes care of its employees in the ways that they grow you in the path that you want to grow in. So they give you all the learning opportunities that are available. They have a whole different system of learning. They have their own learning hub, where you can go to and you can develop yourself in whichever way you want to. And that leads to my third point, which is the growth potential in Intel. So you can maneuver your career in the way that you want to. The fourth point being that Intel is a safe place to work. And that is why I say this, is because even to enter certain places, I had to take tests and pass certain exams and have to go through rigorous assessments. So it's just to make sure that you are aware of what kind of place that you are in. It's definitely not a park. So you cannot just go on and walk about in the fabrication facility. You have to have access to wherever you want to be, and then for that access you need to pass certain exams and tests and all those things. So it's at the end it all boils down to how much responsible you are as well, but also all these protocols are in place to make that your workplace a safe place. And the last thing is, of course, what I'm enjoying so far is the shift pattern. So I work 3 days on, 4 days off, and 4 days on, 3 days off. And the time off really gives me an opportunity to pursue whatever other passions I have. And also, since I'm a mother, it gives me quality time with my kids. I can take them to a playground or something when I'm in my days off. I can, go on for a coffee or something like that. So in a normal job, I wouldn't even could have imagined going on for a coffee on a Monday or a Tuesday. So, but I think it's really great. It's working good for me so far. And let's see where the road will lead me after that. So next slide, please. Now, to quickly wrap it up, I will just give a few points and a few tips that for any woman, or for, in fact, anyone who wants to get back to work, is that the first thing is test the waters. Just go out there, do some kind of volunteer work or increase your network or do whatever, but leave your comfort zone and just step ahead and go out really. The second thing is that you have to, if you are building up some skills, which you think, because from one thing I know is that I have a fear of irrelevance when I was first trying to get back to the industry. But at the same time, I could see that employers also have that fear that they don't want to hire someone who is obsolete. So it is up to you to develop the skills. It is up to you to do a survey and a research of what are the skills that are really required. And once you develop those skills, you need a way to properly showcase them so that you give a clear message to the employers that This is what you want to be, this is who you are, this is what you want to be, and this is what you have done about it. So whether it be writing a blog about a skill that you have developed, or you making a project and putting it up there for the employers, but that is what you have to decide for yourself, but you have to showcase your skills in whatever way you can. And the last thing is that you get help from wherever you can. So me being a mother, I have to take care of a house, kids, and on top of that, if I have the third thing is my job, then of course I'm adding responsibility to myself. So from at that point of time, I decided that I will take help from wherever I can get help from, whether it be family, friends, and later on I can return it of however I can. But yeah, get help and don't say no to help, just get help if you can. The last thing is that you are the architect of your own destiny. Don't let anyone else decide for you that you are good at one thing, you're not good at the other thing. They don't know, only you know yourself, you know your true potential. So stick to it. And that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Sidra. That was an incredible speech. And look, it's been a real pleasure to have you back. And again, thank you for all the incredible work that you did with us in Engineers Ireland. We all truly benefited from that. And yeah, it's been really exciting to hear how your careers continue to grow with Intel. Here, they're hiring those at the moment. So I'll drop the link in the description for anyone who is looking to apply for a role at Intel. So look, I'm delighted to thank you and hand it over to Sarah now, speaking on the topic of engineers from overseas who might want to find work in Ireland. I think Sarah has a slide deck kind of giving a little bit about applying for a role, and as well talking about the Morgan McKinley jobs desk. So Sarah, I'm delighted to hand it over to you, and I can confirm that I can see you, hear you, and see your slide deck.
Great. I was just going to ask. So hello everyone. Happy International Women's Day. So my own name is Sarah McCarthy, and I'm an engineering consultant in Morgan McKinley. So just to give you a brief kind of synopsis of Morgan McKinley, the Morgan McKinley Group is a global company. They have 18 offices globally in 9 different countries. It is Irish owned people and business solutions group. It employs over 1,000+ people, and it works with 3,000 clients from global corporations to SMEs. So the engineering team here in Morgan McKinley, we currently have 12 consultants working on the engineering team nationally here in Ireland. We are the leading supplier of engineering recruitment, delivering permanent, contract and temporary solutions to clients all across Ireland. So we all individually in Morgan McKinley specialise in our own areas. I myself specialise in R&D, design and MPI roles, and other areas that we specialise in across the team are quality, validation, process manufacturing, automation, maintenance, facilities and project management. And you can see there lined up there typical roles that we'd work upon. We continually partner with established clients, including Ireland's leading medical device industry, life science industry, food companies and various other industries also. So the engineering market growth. So at the moment, the engineering market is growing exponentially. An example there in regards to that would be the biopharmaceutical industry. It has made a capital investment of approximately $8 billion in new facilities in Ireland, most of which has come in the last 10 years. So this would represent a close to the biggest wave of investment in new biotech facilities anywhere in the world. So that has a knock-on effect there, and as a result, we're continuously seeing a huge need for qualified engineers within the life science industry. Also, since the start of 2022, we've seen a huge significant demand for roles that support Ireland in the fight against climate change. An example there of companies working in this space would be Supernode, AirGrid. Also, Ireland is becoming the largest European hub for data centres, with the likes of Amazon, Facebook, LinkedIn and Microsoft competing for top talent here in Ireland. So just a bit of an insight there into the labour market. So due to the continued shortage across some areas, employers are really heavily investing into top talent. So, for example, there 73% of employers are taking the appropriate steps to upskill their employees through CPD. 69% are collaborating directly with educational institutions, and the need for engineers from overseas is evident as more and more companies look as well to become a trusted partner so they can employ engineers who be deemed to have critical skills. So here is just a bit of a sector analysis there of the manufacturing side of things. You can see there in regards to manufacturing skills, you've got technical skills ranked 1 to 12 and soft skills ranked 1 to 12. These are great skills if relevant to yourself to have on a CV for prospective potential employers to have listed there, which would stand out to them. So we also here in Morgan McKinley release on an annual basis a salary guide. So we do this in conjunction with our clients, our candidates and bodies such as the IDA, as well as peers in the industry. And you can view this on the Morgan McKinley website, and you can synopsize down in regards to a specific sector you want to look at or a specific region within Ireland you want to look at as well. So I just touched upon the trusted partner and critical skills area of visas. So other visas that we find that a lot of our clients will come back to us looking for would be the Stamp 1G and the Stamp 4 in particular, in regards to having that to apply for a role. There's other visas there as well in regards to the critical skills visa, but we find across the board that the Stamp 1G and the Stamp 4 would be the most popular in regards to candidates applying for jobs with ourselves. So I'm just going to have a touch on LinkedIn profile and how to get yourself out there and seen with potential future employers. So with LinkedIn, it's a great opportunity for yourself to display your professional profile in the public domain for future potential employers. And we strongly recommend utilizing that. So anytime somebody applies for a role with ourselves, with their CV, we also have a look at their LinkedIn profile, as do any future employers that you may potentially apply for a role with. So you can factor in different areas of your LinkedIn in regards to having a photo, a strong headline, summary, your courses, language, volunteer experience, etc. So I'm just going to touch on the appropriate photo side of things there. So profiles with no photos get 14 times less views. So we strongly recommend having a photo there on your LinkedIn profile. So make sure it's work appropriate, a high quality photo of yourself alone, professionally dressed and facing forward. And just to reiterate, LinkedIn isn't Facebook. Just ensure that everything on your LinkedIn is for professional viewing. So this is just a quick example there of an ideal profile and an appropriate photo. So you can see there Ricardo, he's a member of Engineers Ireland. You can see his profile there in regards to his photo is professionally taken, in regards to he's alone in the picture, professionally dressed and facing forward. You can see there after his name, he has listed his qualifications and his summary. You could see he's listed again his qualifications in a little bit more detail, and as well as his job title and where he's currently working at the moment. So in regards to your profile headline, we always would recommend it's short and sweet, and that it's memorable. So for example, there, Bachelor's of Engineering graduate seeking a process engineering position to begin a career in, or a graduate working for a world-leading biotechnology company. So look, if you need some ideas, you should check out profiles possibly of your peers or maybe future potential employers, employees, just to get a bit of an idea there of what is in other people's profiles that you may have not included in your own. So be smart about your experience. So list the jobs that you've held with a brief description of what you were responsible for and what you've accomplished. And you can choose it to make it more or less detailed than your CV, but you'd see across the board that it is less detailed than your CV. Think broadly about your experience, as well to make sure that you include any volunteering activities that you have done, and also any engineering practical modules that you've completed also. If you're a recent graduate or have not as much work experience to fill up your LinkedIn profile, don't worry at all. What we recommend is if you've earned any prizes or recognitions, make sure you list your honours and awards. Also any classes that you've attended, any languages, certifications that you've done, any team projects, any final year projects, make sure to demonstrate them because you've worked hard to acquire them. Also, building a very strong network is a great idea there to get your experience out there. So I just touched upon the LinkedIn profile. I'm just going to touch upon the interview if you are successful in obtaining an interview. So with interviews, one thing that we see is, you can see there the quote on the screen, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So what we see across the board is it may not be the most qualified person that may get the job, it may be the most prepared person for the role that may get it. So a top tip there is the interview is your chance to sell yourself. Be confident and assertive about discussing your experience. Highlight your experience is relevant to the position that you're interviewing for, and show them that you're eager and that you want the role. So we put a strong focus here in Morgan McKinley on interview prep before your interview. We do interview prep with all our candidates in advance of their interview with potential employers. So a big 3 key points there is understanding the job description, knowing your CV, and making sure you research the company that you're interviewing for. So the job description, make sure you read it line by line and understand what the role entails and what the employer is looking for. CV, be fluent and be clear. Have examples for your CV ready to draw upon. There's 2 types of interview styles that you may come across, technical and competency. And if you are getting a competency-based question, to ensure to use the STAR method, situation, task, action, result, and you can have a Google about this to get more information about it. Prepare relevant questions that you think that may be asked, and be prepared to stand over every statement in your CV. Some reliable tips, so be punctual, know the date and time and exact location of your interview, be it if it's on site, know where the premises is, or if it's on a video, knowing exactly what software they're using, be it Teams, Zoom, Google Meet, etc. Try and be at least 10 minutes early and be aware of your surroundings. Know who you're meeting, their job title and their phone number. So say, for example, you had technical issues, if it's a video interview, just ensure that you have a contact number, be it a recruitment consultant or the manager that you're meeting, that you have a number to contact them just in case. Interview dress code, we always recommend it's business formal. Make sure to be in a quiet place, switch off your mobile phone, and just maintain eye contact throughout the interview and being aware of your body language. So this is just a brief snapshot of some current open roles that we have live at the moment in Morgan McKinley. You can have a look on the Morgan McKinley website as well for a lot more roles that we have, as this is just a quick snapshot of them. So just to kind of wind up there, this is just a testimonial that came back from an international female candidate of mine that recently started in a new role that she obtained through Morgan McKinley. And look, thanks a million for listening to the presentation today. I know Michal is going to have questions at the end of it, so thanks a million.
Thank you, Sarah. That was really fantastic. And on International Women's Day, I'm so glad you were able to kind of come along and show some of our global engineers how to land a job in Ireland. So I think that was really valuable. You touched on the having fantastic LinkedIns, and the next speaker, I'm delighted to say, is one of those people who do have a fantastic LinkedIn. It's Louisa Brack, apologies. Louisa, if you'd like to start sharing your slides now, or else I can share them from my seat, whichever is easier for you.
No, I can do it. Okay. Let me know.
Yeah, look, that's looking great. And just as you begin, just to say a massive thank you as well from Engineers Ireland again for speaking at today's event.
No, absolutely. So thank you. First of all, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure attend this type of event, and whatever I can contribute and help people. So it's always a pleasure. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about me a little bit, give you a little introduction about me, my life before Dublin in Ireland. My name is Louisa Brack. I'm a civil engineer, and I started work since 2010, more than 10 years, I think 12 years, nearly 12 years, as an internship. So I was in a college, second, third semester in college, and I already working on site. So, and as in Brazil, I don't know if everybody's aware, I'm from Brazil, sorry. And we used to work in huge projects, at least in me, in large projects. So you can see those pictures just to have an idea. So, and since the beginning, I always wanted work as a planner, controller, planning engineer, project controls in general. So I had a different projects and different roles, but in the big picture, I was always working as a planner or very close to planners. So the first project that I started work was a huge development, was 4 buildings. Either building, I think it was 14 floors and like 3, 4, or 5 apartments per floor. So in total was like 250 apartments to control and planning. So it's a large scale. And after that, I was dragged into a completely different environment and work in a hydroelectric. Yes, it's a really different, really mechanical and electrical, much more than civil that I was doing. So it's, if I'm not wrong, it's the 5th or the 6th biggest hydroelectric in the country. And it's huge, it's huge. In the picture you can see. And then after that, I was again dragged for another challenge, another huge project. Was for like a social housing here. So the company was hired by the government to build in apartments. And I think in the total was 11 or 12 developments, and in total was more than I think a little more than 3,000 apartments to, again, planning and control. So it was really crazy at the time. And then after those amazing experiences in Brazil, that I was already like 4 or 5 years of experience, I finished my college. And then what's the next step? What am I going to do? And then Engineers Island happened. And yes, so my timeline here in Ireland and my experience with Engineers Island, it's pretty much the same thing. We merged it. So everything happened when I was searching for like what I'm gonna do. The country at the moment, the economy wasn't great opportunities for engineers. So I started to look around, saw Ireland, country was growing. And then I came into Ireland in back 2016, just for a quick exchange, learn English, improve my CV. And I spent here 3 months. And during those 3 months, I was like, put an effort to do as much as I could to learn English. And I couldn't realize the opportunities in the country. I could see in the city center, for example, it's like a site. You could see buildings all over the place and things being building all over the place. So I was, why not try? What I need to do to be able to work here, apart of course, learning English and improve my English. So when I come back to Brazil, I decided to search a little bit more and trying to find what I could do. And then I found Engineers Island, and especially one of your co-workers, Michal, at Regiane. Regina Vasconcelos. I'm always grateful for her for help. So we got in touch when I was in Brazil, and she always helped me through the process. So when I was in Brazil, and she already told me what the documents that I need to bring to Ireland to become a member, to validate my certificates, and then became a member and engineer in Europe, and then be able to get a visa to work, because I don't have a European citizen. So I needed a company to sponsor my visa. And one of the ways to make sure that it would happen was through Engineers Island. And for me, at least for me, was the right way to do. I know people, they got their visa without Engineers Island, but I didn't want to I think was maybe lucky, I don't know, but I want to be sure that I would get the right way. And Engineers Island, they did this for me. So I became a member as soon as I got in Ireland. I got in Ireland, I think was at the end of 2017. I got in touch with Reggiani, and then I was able to become a member in 2018. March 2018, I became a member. And then 2 months later, I was attending an event like this one that we are having now, but a moment of life before COVID. We are in a network in Engineers Ireland with different companies as well. And then that day, I have the opportunity to talk with different companies, people from human resource for those companies, deliver my CV, had a chat with them, explain, understand how the market was at the time, what they needed. And then I had a very interesting chat with the human resource director for the company that I'm working currently with them. And then I remember that 1 week after that event, they called me for have an interview. And then I was, oh my God, it's happening. So yeah, so I went there, have the interview. And that event that I had attended, it's like now the same that Sarah did. She explained how to do an interview and how's the process. So I could see the things happening in front of me. So I was able to explain my CV, and I was able to explain the company how the visa would work, because they are not aware, as I can say. Those companies, they started to open up. Well, we are talking about back 2017. Now I think they are more aware about this. But and a few years ago, I think just a few companies, they knew how those visa works and what is required to apply for a work permit. So I could explain to them, and was really important at the time. And then a few hours after the interview, they offered me a job, and they offered me to sponsor my visa. But we had a problem. As nothing in life is easy, right? We had a problem because I was under the student visa, stamp 2, and I was ending that visa, and I was renewed for another course, English course. And at the time was really, really good opportunity the company gave to me was, I was able to work part-time in a company while the process was being applied. So I remembered at the time, I think it was a long time, the company wasn't partner trusted. So I think it took up nearly 6 or 7 months for all process being between when you started the application until I got my employment visa. Was like 6 months, 6 or 7 months, working part-time, getting to know the project that I'm working at the moment. And I'm still working on the project. It's a huge project here in Ireland, New Children's Hospital. So 2018 and 2019 January, so was when I got my general employment visa. And the Engineers Island was very important for me and for the company as well. The company could rely on Engineers Island that, okay, she's a member, so she had her validation here. So it was really important at the time. And then the life changed. Once I started work full time, the company really put, they invested, and I could like learn a little more about the company. They gave me opportunity to do several courses, and I just took the opportunity. I was really happy. So let me see, 2019 was pretty much this, doing as much courses as could do to improve myself and be able to do whatever I needed to do in this big challenge that is this project. The company helped me a lot with this. So 2019 is still 2019. The things that started to it's like, I don't know, I can't say luck, okay, because was loads of preparation behind this, but things are starting to happen. So the company, they chose my profile and they made a brochure with my story to deliveries in various marketplaces, in colleges, in a website as well. My college back in Brazil, they found out what happened to me, because it's not easy. I'm from state in Brazil. I don't know if everybody know, but Amazon forest, I'm from there. So it's not that common if it's someone it's succeed out of there. So the college that I finished my graduation, they found out my experience here, and they made interview. So they issued the interview in their website. So it was really good at the time. And then here a little more from the company. You can join us. So I'm always happy to say good things about the company. As Jonas Engineers, one of the biggest company in the country. We are all over the world as well, not just in Ireland, countryside as well, in another countries in Europe and out of Europe as well. So if you want to apply, you have loads of opportunities there. Just go in website and register yourself. It's a really good company. And here again, the Global Engineer event out there. Ricardo here, the Sarah spoke and showed his LinkedIn. He's amazing professional as well. So I'm always happy to help. And here's another thing as well. The company chose me again to take part of this another event, to talk with graduated women in general, just to show you, no, it's possible, go and be engineer, work in this environment. Yes, it's possible, you can do. And especially me coming from another country, another continent as well. So here's another, I think it was few days before the pandemic happens, the COVID. So I think was the last time that everybody was able to gather together for a long time. So yes, and back 2020, March 2020. So another advertisement, and I was issuing this in medical independence. So all the women, they work in this project, they were called to go and take a picture to show again, yes, it's possible. We can do whatever we want. It's just not men work on site, so we can do as well. Okay, so, and then 2020 again, Engineers Island, another interview, moving from Brazil to Ireland with a universal language of engineer. I say that I dare to say the universal language is numbers. Engineering is a universal language for me. And if I think about this, just to make possible this coming from Brazil, the small state, and then work here and become engineer in Ireland, and then become engineer in Europe, because once you turn a member in Engineers Island, you are engineer in Europe. So it was a really huge achievement for me and for my career. And then 2021, I dare say again that 2021 was a Zoom year. So loads of online meetings, loads of online everything, the life turned online. So here was one of those presentations that I had done. Again, one of these here was last year for the same event as well. And then another one was with colleges in Brazil from the state that I was. And then one of them, they just broadcast for whole country as well. So I think at the moment we had like 300 people watching the presentation about me talking how it's possible, how it's achievable, work out of Brazil and work in the right way. I mean, turn a member of a famous association, get a validation for your profession, career, and was really good, I guess. Because I like to share this experience with people, then to show that it's possible. Now, you don't need to put yourself in a position that, no, I'm not gonna try. So as Sidra say as well, you do your future. So you choose your path. So just go ahead, leave out of your comfort zone. I used to say that as well. So even, especially us coming from abroad, we live in our out of our comfort zone. So, and I'll just talk a little bit about the project that I'm working since 2018, and we don't know until when, to be honest, 2024, hopefully. It's a huge challenge for me. It wasn't my experience to work with a fire protection. I'm working with John as engineer, but I'm in the fire protection division. So, and I never worked with this in Brazil before. I always work as a planner controller, but civil construction, not as in fire protection. And the company, they say, no, it's fine, you're gonna learn. And we are here more than able to help you to learn and bring you whatever the path that you wanna go. So what I can say, the company, they are great. I have been doing pretty much a little bit of everything in this project, since the planner, controlling dates, and then document controlling as well, and then QA, and then TS as well, the survey. I'm everywhere. So I have the big picture of the project. So it's not just in the field that I started as a planner, but now I'm evolving, always evolving, and the company, they are super open to that. So I'm really happy. And this project is completely different from everything I did. As I showed you before, I was in residential apartments, and then hydroelectric, and then in small apartments for housing, social housing, and now this huge hospital. So I'm used to with these large projects. And this one is one of my biggest challenges, because I'm working in a different language, working in something that I hadn't worked before, learning every single day something different. And this is really important, I think, for us. So thank you very much. It's pretty much this. My LinkedIn is Louisa Brack. And if you want any questions, please be free. Okay.
Well, Lisa, I just want to say thank you so much. What a really fascinating presentation. And thank you to all of our speakers today for this International Women's Day event. And yeah, look, a very happy International Women's Day to everyone. I am going to stop the